Hi everyone and welcome to our webinar. Today's webinar is going to be all about Polygon Hotspots. My name is Martin Hopkins, also known as Hopkey, and we will be joined today with Karen. Karen will be dealing with the Q&A afterwards. Just want to start off with a bit of housekeeping. This webinar is all about Polygon Hotspots. I may refer to them as just hotspots or polys, but just to let you know what I'm all talking about. The other thing is our input images, we refer to them as panos or nodes or panoramas. Okay. The other thing I want to say is this, obviously the webinars get recorded, and this one is all about Polygon. So if we can keep any questions on topic, so it's all about Polygon. So in the web page and somebody visits the page, it's just about this topic. Okay, right. So moving on then, what I'm going to do is, if you look, I've got a project here of 3 nodes. I'm going to open up Pano2VR. I'm going to start from scratch this time around. So here we go. Pano2VR is the welcome screen. And what I'm going to do is select input images. Okay, so desktop, and here is my projects folder. I'm going to select the images in order of 1, 2, 3. And if you do that and open, they'll actually appear in the tour browser at the bottom in the order you've selected. Okay, so that's my images in. I want to just quickly set a default view because I'm going to be wanting to be looking in this direction most of the time when the project opens. So I'm going to select the viewing parameters and set that default view. There we go. Okay, and then go back to the properties panel. Right, so Polygon Hotspots, how do we get to them? Right, well, in the viewer, here it is. I'm going to cursor over to the little icon at the top, and as you can see, we've got the viewer tools, and I'm going to select the polygon here. I could have also just selected 0 on the keyboard, and that would have brought it up as well. So there's the polygon icon. Okay, so I'm going to set my first polygon. I'm going to double click and start adding it. Okay. And double click to finish. I can add another point to it, drag it out, or I can right button click and get rid of that point. So I can modify the shape of it as well. Now, as you can see, with the polygon, I have the option of it either displaying a website or to link to a tour node. So I'm going to select link to a tour node, and I'm going to select the tour node. It's going to go to node 2, and I'm going to select its target view, so the view it should have when it gets there. So I'm going to set that. Click OK, and I'm going to use the keyboard shortcut option on the Mac or on the PC, and we can change nodes. I'm going to do the same thing here, so I'm going to double click, add another polygon. But this time around, what I'm going to do, because this is going to go back to node 1, rather than going through all that palaver, the easiest way of doing it, drag and drop, and it's set. There you go. I can now use the keyboard shortcut command on the Mac and control on the PC. That opens up my target view, which is what I want, so that's fine. And I again can use the Alt or the Option key to go back again. I'm just going to set the last polygon to go to node 3, and we'll do the same thing. Now, if you notice, just before I drop this, you've got a little warning rectangle down here, triangle down here. That's telling you that we've got no incoming or outgoing hotspots. So there we go. Right. Okay. So that was that one. Let's open up the target view here, spin it round, click OK, hold down the Option key, follow it, and then set my last polygon. So double click to start, single click all the nodes, and then double click to finish. Now, what you'll also notice is I've got these ghost hotspots because the 3 nodes that I've got have location data or GPS. You can tell that by the little satellite images or icons on the input images here. I can turn those off by just clicking this little button on the viewer, and that gets rid of those so it doesn't become a distraction. Okay, so again, I'm just going to make sure that I get my view that I want. So let's whiz that round. Hang on, I've added the wrong one. That's got to go back to node 1. Again, if I've made a mistake, just drag and drop node 1 in, then I can set the view that I want and then follow it with the Alt or Option key. Okay, so that's basically the tour set up. I'm just going to add an HTML5 output. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the keyboard shortcut, Alt Command G for the Mac or Control Alt G for the PC. And that's going to generate the output. It's telling me I need to save the project first, so I'll do that. And now it's going to generate it. And we'll see how far we've got. And there it is. So there's the first node. And I can click and we can move around. Here we go. So that's the polygon set up. Okay. What I want to look at now is the hotspot tab under the HTML5 output, because as you saw that when we hovered over, we got a tooltip. Now we can show or hide the tooltips, or we can modify them. We can modify the size of them and the colors. So I'll change the text to white and I'll change the background color to black. There we go, just to be different. And again, I'm going to use the shortcut of, as I'm on the Mac, Option Command G, as I said, Control Alt G for the PC, and that generates it. And you can see I've changed the tooltip color. Okay, now if you'll notice that the polygons are all hidden, and that's because under this section here of the Polygon Hotspots, it says always hidden. I can set them to always visible. So again, let's generate the output and see what that looks like. And here we are, always visible. And the other options we have here are show current or show all. So if I click show all and generate the output, you'll see if I hover over one, they both show up. And if I go to show current, which is probably what everybody's going to be using. So let's generate the output. And here we see we got one at a time. Okay. Right, so that's basically setting up the polys and how we view them. And from here as well, you can see that we can change their colors. Now, this here is global settings. What I can do is change globally the colors of the background and also the border. I can give it a black border. Okay, so now let's just generate the output and see what this looks like. You can see I've got the black border and the orange polygon. Okay, and it's a global setting. It's all the polygons will be the same throughout the project. Okay, all right. I also have the option of selecting an individual polygon. Here we go. And then here under its properties, now our properties panel is, for want of a better term, polymorphic. It changes with whatever you're looking at. So if I click in the image, it's the properties for the panorama. If I click on the Polygon Hotspot, it's now the properties for the polygon. If I deselect use as default, I can change this color individually. So that one is now green. Okay, and let's just change to always visible. Let's output this, and you can see I've now got this polygon and these polygons, two different colors. Okay, so that's all of the polygons colors. What I'm going to do now is take you through to the skin editor and see how we can interact with the polygons using the skin. So I'm opening up the skin editor. It's a brand new skin. I haven't saved it or anything. And I'm just going to add a text box. I'm going to be using this text box as a button. So I'm going to make sure it's anchored top left. And then I'm going to move its position 10 pixels from the left and 10 pixels down. We're going to change the text on it so it says color. And I'm going to give it the action of mouse click, player setting, and then we can change polygon color. All right. Now this is where it gets interesting because it's now asking for an ID, and the ID it's asking for is this. Now in this project, I've got, well, actually I'll show you. What I'm going to do is save this, and we'll just save the skin. Okay. So let's just go to the desktop, call it skin for something to call it. Now, if I go to the list view, right, you'll see that in this first node, I've got two polygons. So we've got polygon 01 and polygon 02. If I go to another node, you'll see we've got polygon 01. So basically the polygon numbering system starts afresh with each individual node. So So the ID, so the ID obviously is as I say, is this ID of the individual polygon. So if we go back to the skin and go back to that text box where we're going to change the color, I'm going to enter in the color the O2, and I'm going to change the color to, I don't know, let's change it to red. Okay. Now, again, with the skin editor open, I can do a, on the Mac, Command S or Control S on the PC to save the skin. And then I can generate the output by the keyboard shortcut. And you should see, here we go. This is the, let's make that a bit wider. Here we go. Under here. So these are the, it's the output. And when I click the color, it changes to red. So with the button click, I can change the polygon colors. Here we go. All right then. So what else can we do in the skin? So I'm going to change or select another text box, and I'm going to place that in the skin canvas. And what I'm probably going to do with this one is set that to hide all. Okay. So again, what I'm going to do is give it the action on mouse click. We're going to go to the player settings, change viewer mode. Nope, change polygon mode is what I want. And I'm going to put always hidden. So we're going to use that. So I click OK, close, save, generate the output. And there it is. So there's the output. And when I click hide all, boom, polygons disappear, but they are still active. Okay, cool. And if I chose the color, obviously, well, I can't bring them back for the minute because I need another button to do that. So let's just do that. Let's go back to the skin, add a text box. This time around, this text box is going to be called shovel. Okay. And then we'll go to mouse click, player settings, polygon mode, and always visible. Click OK, save the skin, generate the output. Here we go. And so now I can hide all and show all and change the color. There we go. So that's the control that we can have with the skin with Polygon Hotspots. Now, the other thing that this webinar is going to cover is something that's got a very, very technical name, hotspot proxy IDs. In actual fact, it's actually quite simple. So what I'm going to do is delete everything from this skin. Okay, so we're going to do that. And I'm going to, what else am I going to do? I'm going to spin this image around, and I'm going to set the default view to this, I think. And the reason being is because I want to concentrate on an area at the front here. So that's the reason why I've just set my default view. So whilst I've got the polygon tool active in the viewer, I'm going to add another polygon. Here we go. And I'm going to call this rectangle. I'm going to just copy that as well. So, all right. So I'm going to go back into the skin, and I'm going to add a rectangle. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give this rectangle the action on mouse click, and I'm going to change its angle to say 90 degrees. In fact, what I'll do is I'll toggle its angle, which then gives me a time. So again, save, generate the output. Let's have a look. So now when I click the rectangle, we can get it to change its angle. But what I want to do is obviously change it by using the polygon. So what I need to do is, let's go back here, find what the polygon's ID was. So I'm just, as I say, I'm going to copy that. I'm going to go back to the skin. And if I select that element, the rectangle, if we look down its properties, so we go right down to the bottom, and you can see here, hotspot proxy ID. So I'm just going to paste in the ID there, and that's it. That's what a hotspot proxy ID is all about. It's all about making a physical link between the Polygon hotspot here to the skin element by using its ID. Okay. Now, what's going to happen is it's going to emulate any of the mouse actions. So as an example, if I open up the skin's actions, you can see we've got mouse click, mouse double click, pressed, over, down, mouse up, mouse enter, mouse leave, etc. So anything we do with the polygon will happen. So I can click it, double click it, mouse over it, mouse, and do all the other bits and pieces. Okay. So let's leave that as that. So what should happen then, he says, all things being equal, if I click it, we can rotate it. Now, one little problem with this is the rectangle is still active, so I can click that as well. All right. So all I need to do is really go back into the skin, select the rectangle, and make that permeable. So in other words, it's visible, but not an active element. So save the skin, generate, and I can click it as much as I like. Nothing's going to happen. But when I click the polygon, we can activate it. There we go. All right. So this opens up a lot of possibilities. And one of the possibilities is going to be this. What I'm going to do is, let's just save the skin, close that. I'm going to delete that polygon. And I'm going to add another one around this little sign here. This is an information sign. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the ID of the polygon to info. Here we go. And I'm going to go back into the skin editor, because what I want to do is I want to create an information pop-up. All right. So I'm going to go to the components toolbox and I'm going to open up the information pop-up element or component. Now, the trouble is this uses a point hotspot. All right. Now I want to use this with a polygon. So how do I do it? Well, I select the hotspot template. I can select the top action, hold shift and select them all. I'm going to right button click and select copy. With that done, I can then delete the hotspot template. I'm going to hide all of these elements in the skins tree, and so I don't accidentally click anything. And I'm going to add a container, and this container is going to have those actions. All right. Now this container only needs to have the hotspot proxy ID of info. Here we go. So if I save that, generate the output, should have now is the pop-up working. Now it obviously hasn't got any data in there, because what I needed to do is give the actual pop-up information is coming from the hotspot itself. So basically you can add as many Polygon hotspots with the actually I won't talk about it, I'll show you it. So let's just call it hang on, let's get my cursor out, mate. So text. All right, so let's just save and generate title one test text. I can add another polygon. So let's put another one over here. Just make sure that's got the same ID. Test 2 and test 2. Save and publish. You'll see now that that pops open the information for that one, and this is now different as well. So as you can see, you can interact using the hotspot proxy ID between Polygon Hotspots and the skin editor. So that's quite a powerful tool there. Right, I've got a nice little project as well, because you can see there's the shadow of this rather handsome chappy, me. And what we're going to do is I'm going to show you a nice little something we can do with the logic blocks. So I'm going to go back to the skin. I'm going to delete everything. So let's get rid of that, not there. And I'm going to add an image. Here we go. So that's me there. All right. Now I'm going to hold down the shift key, and when you hold down the shift and scale it down, it scales with keeping its aspect ratio. Or obviously I can select this icon here, and that will keep its aspect ratio. So if I say this is 100 pixels, top left, I'm going to make sure I'm going to bring it in so it's 10 pixels. Oh, not 100, 10 pixels from the top, and I'm actually going to set it to 110. Oh, minus 110 pixels. So it's off-screen canvas. Okay. The idea is, what I want to do is when we hover over the polygon, not only will it pop up with my name, but we also see my picture. Okay. So there is the skin. And what I want to do is show you this. If we go under view, we can show off-canvas elements. And now what happens, I don't know if you can see this, but we've got this yellow line. That represents the edge of the screen canvas, and this shows my little image off the screen canvas. Okay, so before I go any further, I'm going to save the skin, and I'm going to set up the polygon. So let's go to the views, and let's get rid of all of these. Okay. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to remove all the polygons from the project while I'm at it, because I'm going to bring back the hotspots, the point hotspots, because what you might want to do is have a project that you've got point hotspots that you move around instead of polygons, but you want the polygon to highlight something. In this case, it's going to be highlighting me here. So with that said, what I'm going to do is I've turned back on the ghost hotspots. Now these input images, as I said, have got geolocation. So to actually set up the point hotspots is very easy. It's tour, automatic link in closest node. So that's now all my hotspots activated. If I use the tour map, I can confirm how the hotspots are linking. So from the center node, I can show that we're all linking correctly. Okay. So that's done. I'm going to go back to the output, and we're going to look at my silhouette, and we're going to draw a polygon around it. Now it's not very accurate. Bear with me. There we go. And there it is. And we're going to call him title hotkey, and we're going to call it, or we give it the ID of hotkey as well. Okay. All right. So there we go. So that's that. Now the other thing I want to show you here, let's just put this, probably a bit of my OCD here. I just want to put these back to being blue. But if we had a look at the options here, we've got this other option. It's called disabled. Now this is quite clever, and it really is a good tool if you're using point hotspots to move around a tour, and you're using polygons to show more additional information or to highlight areas within a tour. Okay, so I'm going to select this to disabled, and we're going to output. Okay, so even though I've got a polygon around it, it is completely inactive. It is a disabled thing. All right, so let's just go back to the skin. I'm going to add a text box here, and if we go back to the viewer and to stop showing off grid, you'll see that the text box is in the corner. So let's just make that 10 pixels by 10 pixels, so it's nice and straight. And we're going to call, change the text to show hotkey. All right. And the action is going to be mouse click, player settings, polygon, change polygon mode, and show 1. All right. And the ID for that is going to be the polygon ID, which is hotkey. All right, so let's save that, and let's just see how far we've got with this. Okay, sorry about that. I just screen went blank for a second. Right, so let's see how far we got with that. So there is my shadow. When I click the show hotkey, we can see him. All right, so that's me. Cool. Right, so as I said, what we want to do is link this up with my image. So what I'm going to do is, first and foremost then, is hotspot proxy ID, stick in the ID. Okay. And then under the position logic block, we're going to say that on mouse over, when that equals true, set its position to 10 pixels from the left. That's where it's anchored. Okay. So I'm going to save and generate the output. And we should have that here. So completely inactive. All right. I can click the button here. It then makes me active, and we can hide and show my image. All right. Now, just to tidy this up a bit, what I'm going to do is move my image above the text box so it covers it, because in the skins tree, anything above is more forward. So my image will be more forward or on top of the text box. And under the logic block, I'm going to give it a transition. So it's going to take 1 second to slide out. Okay, so let's save, generate, have a look. And now what happens is I'm going to show hotkey and we can slide him in and out. Okay, I'm quite happy with all of that. I hope that you learned something from all of that. And what I'd like to do now is bring in Karen with any questions that you guys might have.
Hi there. Can everybody hear me? So I only have one question that came up from Alexander, and he wants to know, how do you create a polygon that consists of 2 parts but have them act the same way?
Okay.
Well, yeah.
I'm struggling to understand. You say 2 parts, which you mean what? 2 separate polygons and have them
Right.
open? Is that
2
right?
separate shapes. Yep.
2 separate shapes. Well, it's all to do with the IDs. Basically, what I could do is have a polygon here. All right. And then I could add another polygon right next to it. All right. We can obviously move that over. So it's easier to identify. I'll just change the color of one of them. Just change it to there. And as long as they've got the same ID, so let's just call it text and text. What I can then do is bring in the button. So again, I'll just use a text box and give that the action of mouse click, player settings, change polygon mode. So let's show one. Sorry, show one, not hide one, and that would be text. Okay, so that's in the skin. So let's save that. I'm going to make sure that these will be always hidden. Okay, and then when we output, what we should have is that they're both showing together. So you can have multiple hotspots or Polygon hotspots next to each other, all different colors, all doing different things, and just but as long as they've got the same ID, you can control them as a whole. So you can show that ID, hide the ID, change the color of the ID, and as long as they've all got the same ID, you'll affect all of them. Right. Anything else?
Cool. Thanks. I don't have any other questions listed here. Does anyone else have a question they want answered, or? No. All right. All quiet on the Western Front. So.
Okie dokie. Well, thanks everybody for joining us today, and I hope you're all keeping well and keeping safe, and yeah, funny times as it were.
There's a new question that just came in. Sorry.
No, cool. Carry on.
Yeah. We were just realizing that now there is a little bit of a delay. So sorry about that. So yeah, Raphael asks, can polygons be active only for a specific device? So can you have one that's only active for desktop, but not for mobile devices?
Absolutely. Absolutely. What this will involve though, I'm going to add a container. Okay, so here we go. And what I can say is, let's start off with setting the polygon to disabled. All right, so that's its default state, is going to be it's disabled. The polygon's not going to be active, and we've got these as text, so we've got these polygons already set. So I'm going to go back to the skin. I've added a container. The reason why I use containers is because they are set by default to permeable, and so they're not an active element, but it's something that I can add actions to. So what I can do is I can set it the action of, let's have a look. We can do on no change, and this happens when you first open the project or when you change nodes. We actually get a trigger from the node changed source. Then I can go to player settings, change polygon mode, and let's change it to show current. Okay, now of course this will happen regardless of product. All right. So if I open it up on a computer, it'll happen. If I open it up on a mobile, it'll happen. But what I can do is now is add this action filter. And the action filter can be, let's have a look. If we go to advanced, we can do host operating systems or browser. So I can nail it down to an operating system. So it could be Windows, Mac OS, Linux, iOS, Android, or unknown. Don't quite know what that is. That's unknown. That's probably why. But yeah, we can say, right, okay, we've got iOS. All right. What we can also do is if we go down to player, we can use is mobile. So if it detects it's a mobile, so this would be iOS, I think Windows, mobile Windows and Android. So that's all detected there. It wouldn't detect iPad OS, which is a new one they've decided to change. But instead what we could use has touch. Now the has touch, as soon as you touch the device then sends the signal to Pano2VR, and Pano2VR then knows that it has touch, and therefore it won't show it. So let's just go back to the is mobile and set that to true. All right. And the reason for that is because I can ask Safari to, so here the polygons are not showing. If I go into Safari's develop, go to user agent and iOS and refresh, it's now, so that's now emulating iOS. You can see the polygon is active. And if we again change the user agent back to being a computer, they're no longer active. So you can activate and deactivate using the OS or the device. And I hope that answers that question.
Yeah, actually, there was a question from Tony, which I think is relevant for today. Can you show how to add connect videos to a Polygon hotspot to pop up? Is that something?
Yeah, we can do that. It's a bit more involved, but yeah, we can do that. Let's change this one to vid. Let's give it the ID as its ID to vid. Okay, let's go back to the skin. Let's clear the skin down, remove everything. And what I can do now, it depends on the video. Is it to pop open a video that we know its location? And if that's the case, what we can do is just add a video element. I don't actually have a video to hand, so let's have a look. Let's have a look at let's open a new window. Let's go to YouTube. I'm just going to pick absolutely anything. Oh, there's Boris there. Let's not. Yeah, that'll do. Let's copy URL. Pause that. Get rid of that. So I've now got a copy of that. So there's the video element. I'm going to set that to File, YouTube, and paste in the YouTube video. So that's going to now play a YouTube video. So again, same thing. If I set this to anchor position 0 or center, sorry, and set 0, 0, this will now be in the center of the screen when it opens. I'm going to set this to visible deselect. I'm going to set the hotspot proxy ID to vid because that is the same ID as the hotspot. And what we can do is set a mouse click visibility. I could toggle. So let's just show it for the second and for itself. Here we go. And let's have a look at the attributes. We've got autoplay. I'm not sure if it will if I call it up from YouTube, but let's have a look. If I export this, oh, I haven't got the polygon showing, so that's always visible so we can see them. Generate the output. I'm sorry if I'm going a little bit too fast. All right, that's not working. Okay, so why isn't that working? So mouse click, show element self. That is vid. Is it possibly I haven't set the vid? Okay. Let me try using a container. This may be the reason. Sorry. I'll set the hotspot proxy there, vid. And
with the video ID, Martin?
Sorry?
Video ID for YouTube?
I've already set that in here, haven't I? So that's going to, right. Okay. It's gone again. Okay. I thought I already set that once, so I must have closed it. Right. Okay. So let's just go back to YouTube. Okay. And just grab a video, pause it, just, all right, I can't do that one. That was a bad one. Copy video URL, go back into this and paste. All right. So that's the, and there it is. That's it. Right. Okay. You're quite right. I must have accidentally deleted it, but yeah. So it's add the video element, add the video it needs to play, set it to visible, deselected, so it's not visible, add the hotspot proxy, and which links up with the ID here. And then we've given the video a mouse click show element action. All right. So yeah, sorry about that. So that should answer that question. So you can do various things. You can open up YouTube videos, Vimeo videos. I mean, we have a look at the video element. You can actually choose quite a few different ones here. All right. Okay. So I hope that one's answered. And we'll just hang back because, as Karen pointed out, there is a bit of a delay.
Yeah, there's just a small delay. I think it's just about 15 seconds. But as of right now, there are no more questions. So if that's all, I think you can close. And thank you for everybody for joining us today.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I'll just repeat what Karen said. Thank you very much for looking in. Oh, hang on, we just got another.
Oh.
What was this one? Could it be an RTSP video stream? I have no idea. I think questions like that, to be fair, just email in. This is a job for Thomas, I think, to answer something like that. I really don't know, is the honest answer. But at the moment, we deal with files and YouTube and Vimeo. Possibly email it in. Maybe we can add it as a feature request. But to my knowledge, at the moment,
if it goes over YouTube, then for sure you can use it.
Right. Okay.
Just got that in.
All right. Okay. Obviously, Thomas is listening. Right. Cool. Well done, Thomas. Right. Okay. So yeah. So if you can live stream, actually, yeah. If you live stream to YouTube, you can put the live stream into the video element from YouTube. Yeah, Bob's your uncle, as they say in the UK. All right. Okay. Cool.
Oh, there's a question in here really quick. I'm reading it. Can you put pinned video in the same place where a polygon is, and then can you click on it to start the video?
I got a funny feeling you can. I do. Hang on. Let me just. We're going to save this.
Sorry, guys. One last one, and this will be the last question, I think, for
right,
tonight.
So that's all right. Okay. Right. So I'm going to put a polygon in the middle here, and make that active. So let's have a look. So it's always visible. So if we, yeah, so that's going to cover it. So yeah, that's so let's just move that to one side so I can get to that. So we could, no, the polygon is going to be behind it. All right, so there's the answer to that one. The Polygon Hotspot will be behind the skin. Yeah, so the skin is more forward than the Polygon Hotspot. Okay, so no. So yeah, you can use a polygon to open up a video. You can click the video to stop and start it. if that answers that question. All right. Okay. So how are we doing, Karen? Any other questions, or is that it?
I'm just double checking. About the pinned video.
Oh, pinned video.
Yeah, that's the pinned video. Sorry,
Yeah.
it was.
Okay. I sadly I don't have a video on this in this project.
But a video element you can add a video element. I think that's the same now.
Yeah, no, I think a pin. Yeah, I don't have a video that I can pin to the. I can pin an element via a point hotspot, and but you know it's not going to be the same thing. So I think on that one, I can't answer that. I've got a funny feeling that the Polygon again will still be behind it. I'm not 100% sure, to be perfectly honest. You know, if that's something you still want to know, please email into support, and of course I'll certainly answer that one. Yeah, yeah, that's if you can answer, you know, I'll answer that one by support email.
Yeah, that's for sure. I just want to answer just a few questions really quickly. Jorn, yes, this presentation is recorded, and once it's ready, you'll get an email that says the video is ready and you can watch it afterwards. We'll also place it on our website. Luca, you can't put a video inside a Polygon hotspot. Sorry. And finally, Jeffrey, how do we make suggestions for our future lectures? Usually Martin comes up with these fantastic ideas, but if you have some ideas that you want us to cover, you can write us at support@ggnome.com or on Facebook or in our forums. Let us know.
Okie dokie.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Now I think we're done.
Right. Okay, we're done. Right. As I say, once again to everybody, thank you for joining us. Been a pleasure talking to you, and we'll catch you next time.